Hey internet friends, it's March, so we're going to make some Irish stew with Guinness. Screenshot the shot just like every other video, and let's start off with a new skill, and that is removing the skin for some pearl onions. First you want to take about 10 to 12 ounces of pearl onions, and you want to start boiling some water. You want enough water to completely submerge the onions when we're ready for it. But in the meantime, we're going to start cutting them up. So you want to cut the bulb and not the tail. Notice this is the bulb and not the tail. You can see me do it a few more times. But basically you want to do this for all of them. This can be slightly time consuming, but by the time you're done, your water should be boiling. See, look, the bulb and not the tail. Now throw them in the boiling water for 2 to 3 minutes. While they're in the pot of boiling water, you want to prepare an ice bath for them. Go ahead and dump them in, just gingerly, and then after a few minutes, go ahead and retrieve them and put them in a bowl. Then grab them by the tail and squeeze them out of their skin. It's that simple. Look, pops right out. Now, watch me do it 1,000 more times. You can discard the skins, and you could put the onions aside because they're ready to go into the stew. So, let's go on to the next step. Cut up a few stalks of celery, a few big carrots. Then you want to take a bunch of Yukon Gold potatoes and cut them into quarters. Now, let's talk about the beef. This beautiful roast, we can start seasoning it with salt and pepper. Look at the marbling on it, and just look at all the seasoning. You could add some salt and pepper and just kind of rub it all in there. And now you want to begin masterfully cutting your beef into these giant stew-style chunks. See, this is about the size that you want it to be at the end. These big meaty pieces. Now, isn't that just beautiful? Those big, meaty, delicious, perfect pieces. They look fantastic, don't they? Now, additionally, you can brown the beef. I'm going to for this recipe, but if you're going to be cooking it for more than 8 hours in a slow cooker, you don't need to. But I'm going to be cooking it for 5, so I will be. After my beef has some color, we're going to start adding everything into the crock pot or slow cooker. So first add the meat, and then go ahead and pour your beef stock. Then you want to add your carrots and your celery. Then your pearl onions. And don't forget your taters. And now my favorite part, the pint of Guinness. Notice that my Guinness is in a collector's can, so it's a white can and not a black can, but it's still Guinness. I promise it's Guinness. Give it a stir and add a cup of flour. Depending on how thick you want your gravy to be, you could add more flour or less flour. I like my gravy to be kind of thick, so I add an entire cup, but that all depends on what you like. And finally, a 1/4 cup of sugar to add a little bit of sweetness and flavor to everything. And don't forget your Worcestershire sauce. I almost did. Don't forget it. Tablespoon of minced garlic, and your thyme and parsley. Then get your big old trusty wooden spoon out, go ahead and give that a stir, and set it on either high for 4 to 5 hours or low for 8 to 12. So while we're waiting for that to cook, feel free to pour yourself a nice cold Guinness and let it settle. Please, for the love of God, let it settle before you start trying to chug it. Let it settle. Come on. And then once your beer is actually settled, go ahead and chug it. And then you could use this time to reflect that St. Patrick's Day is coming up and you're going to have a lot of drinks to drink, especially if you watch this show. And America. Follow me on Instagram. Now that at least 5 hours has passed, we're going to go ahead and eat our delicious stew. The meat should be super tender. You can just break it right up with a fork. I get all the flavors of all the things you put in there with the Guinness, the thyme, and the garlic. It's such a good March thing because, like, when it's super cold, it's so good to come home to like this delicious, robust stew. Hey guys, I'm gonna keep on eating, but don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and make sure you check in next week for my drinking video. It's gonna be all about drinks just for St. Patrick's Day. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. Love you.